Um, Now, is um, there is a assign security level to distinguish between inside and outside networks. Security level defines the level of trustworthiness of an interface. The higher level, um, the higher level of the higher level, the more trusted the interface is. The security level um, numbers range between 0 and hundreds. 0 being the untrustworthy, and 100 is being very trustworthy. Each operational interface must have a name and a security level from 0 to 100, 0 to 100 assigned. So you see in these pictures, this is an example. The assigned level 100 to the most uh, secure networks, such as the inside networks, while the outside network connected to the internet can be assigned to 0 levels. Um, when traffic moves from an interface with a higher security level to an interface with a lower security level, it is considered outbound traffic. Conversely, traffic moving from an interface with lower security level to an interface with a higher security level, it is considered to be inbound traffic. Now, the security level, what the security level controls? It controls network access, it inspection engines, and is also control filtering. Now, network access by default, there is an implicit permit from a higher security interface to a lower security interface. So outbound. So a host on the higher security interface. So this host on the higher security interface um, can access a host on the lower security interface, or this one. Multiple interface can be assigned the same security level. So you can have a one-to-one interface with the same security level. If communication is enabled for same security interface, there is an implicit permit from for interface to access other interfaces at the same security level or lower. Now, inspection engine. Some application inspection engines are dependent on the security level. When interfaces have the same security level, the ASA inspects traffic in either direction. Now, filtering. Filtering applies only for outbound connection from an higher level to a lower level traffic. So from here to here, or here to here. Um, if communication is enabled for same security interfaces, traffic can be filtered in either directions. You can enable communication by using an access list. So outbound traffic is allowed and inspected by default. Returning traffic is allowed because of stateful packet inspection. For example, internal users on the inside interface can access resources on the DMZ freely. Um, they can also initiate connection to the internet um, with no restriction and without the need for an additional policy or um, additional command. However, traffic that is sourced on the outside network and going into the either DMZ network or returning via the outside network. So they um, they can also initiate connection to the internet with no restriction and without the need for an additional policy or additional commands. However, traffics that are sourced on outside network and going into either inside network and returning via the outside interface would be allowed. Any exception to these default behaviors require configuration of access control lists to explicitly permit traffic from an interface with lower security level to an interface with a higher security level, for example, outside to inside. Now, the ASA 5505 is commonly used as an edge security device that connects a small business to an internet service provider device such as DSL or cable modem for access to the internet. It can be deployed to interconnect and protect several workstation, network printer, and IP phones. Now, these pictures, ASA55 is an this picture is a small branch office deployment. A common deployment would include an inside network, which is VLAN 1, and which is the security level of 100, and outside network with VLAN to the security level of 0. Fast Ethernet switch port such as 6 and 7 are power over Ethernet port. They can be assigned to VLAN 1 and are used to connect the IP phones. So in these pictures, this is a small business, and we can see that the ASA 5505, it has deployed with two different protected network segments. So 1 and 2, these are the two protected network segments. The inside network, which is VLAN 1, to connect workstation and IP phones. We can see that the inside network is connected, it has a to workstation and IP phone. And the DMZ, which is on VLAN 3, to connect to the company web server. The outside interface, which is VLAN 2, is used to connect the internet. So this picture is also an enterprise deployment, and the ASA5505 can be used by telecommuter. The ASA5505 is being used by telecommuter and home users, and they are used to connect central locations using the VPN, IPsec VPN. So this is a enterprise deployment. You have a two telecommuter and then home users, and they use ASA to connect to centralized locations using IPsec VPN. Now this picture, it shows you the comparison between IO party system routers and ASA command. As you can see that iOS router, when we use erase startup file, we use erase startup configuration. For the same effect, we use write erase on the ASA